Mr. Steger, I'm going to take a minute and advise you of your rights as a tenant in a landlord-tenant proceeding. Our case is set at 155. It's file number 23334. It's filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. Let's see who this person is. Good afternoon. I've got somebody that's logged in as a telephone number. Who am I speaking with? Ms. Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry, I had muted. I have to.
You're the telephone number, so.
Right, and I'm on the computer.
All right. Mr. Steger, as a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including non-payment of rent, which is what this is, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, and if you are eligible for any emergency housing assistance from Keystone or Veterans or other program, you may not need a judgment to receive that assistance. The summons and complaint could be sufficient. You've already received that, although some parties disagree with that, but so we're advised to tell people, and you do have the summons and complaint. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are agreeable to mediation, you can contact the court and we can set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above and have the following additional rights. The judgment may not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set for a landlord-tenant hearing. However, if the judge did not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. Mr. Matthew Davidson is now here on behalf of Maple Crest Apartments, and your manager, C. Lynn Johnson, is also here. This is filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. Your rent is $630 per month. The time of filing it was $23.80. Mr. Davidson or Ms. Johnson, can you tell me what the current arrearage is?
$2,868.
That's through April?
Correct.
All right, if we add in the $55 filing fee, the $40.14 service fee, and the $75 statutory attorney fee, that's $170.14 plus 2,868 equals $3,038.14. Mr. Steger, what's your intention? Do you wish to stay there or do you plan to move?
Well, actually, I have the means to pay the bill. However, I was working for the apartment complex and they fired me. Prior to that, I had to sign this paper that said if I got fired, I had to move out. So I was advised not to pay the bill in case I find another place to live.
All right, so what's your plan? Do you wish to stay there?
I would like to, yes.
Well, if you pay the rent, I guess if you work there, your rent was probably reduced or comped or something. When was your employment terminated?
February 26th.
All right, so this would be March's rent, April's rent, and I'm not sure what else. Miss Johnson, was his rent part of his compensation, or was he simply paid a wage and then he paid his rent?
He received a wage and he got a discount on his rent. But we haven't received the rent payment from him since October. And I show that his termination date was January 25th, not February.
Okay.
I don't know if that's correct, but that's what I show on his ledger.
All right, well, I'm not sure why he hasn't paid since October, but through April, you owe $3,038.14. Now, the law requires that I adjourn this. And Matt, I apologize. I'm going on a trip. And
Well, the easy solution to that is that we'll just all come down to wherever you are and join you there for the hearing next week.
well, okay, we could try it. How about if we continue it to Friday, April 28th at 9:40? That's farther than I would like. It's 16 days rather than 7, but it's the next available date that I have for this. So Mr. Stager, you have until April 28th, at this point, to pay the rent or move out. If you don't move out, we'll have a hearing on April 28th, at which time I would give you 10 days to move, which would take us into the May rental period. So if you have the money to pay the rent and you simply pay it, we don't need to come back for a hearing on April 28th. If you wish to contest the matter further, we can deal with it on April 28th at 9:40. But let me repeat, if you do pay the rent, we don't need to come back. Now, also, if you do move, you need to turn in the keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving. And if you move, we don't need to come back either. But if you're still there, you haven't paid the rent, you haven't moved, we will address the matter further on April 28th at 9:40. Do you have any questions?
No, sir, clear.
All right, stay in contact with your manager, Ms. Johnson. And if I don't see you, that's fine with me. And it means you either paid the rent or moved. If you don't, we'll deal with it at that time. All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr.
Thank you,
Duncan,
Your
Okay,
Honor.
Mr.
Hey,
Yes, thank you, Lynn.
pretty good.
good.
All right, Bob
I'm outta
is
here.
here for our 205 case, which is 6 minutes from now. Mr. Stager, I'll remove you and you can go on about your business.
Okay, thank you.